guys, I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks now because I've been in Japan for 2 weeks and I got back on Sunday morning and it's Wednesday lunchtime now, so I've been back a few days. But I basically managed to get over the jet lag straight away. In Japan it took probably a good week to completely get over it, whereas here I got back at 10 on Sunday morning and I just stayed awake all day and it sort of just, you know, dissipated straight away, so that's good. I planned on doing daily vlogs when I was there in the same way that I was doing back here, but it just didn't work out. Like the first 2 days we didn't really do anything because we were so jet lagged and tired, we just didn't do anything. And then other days we were absolutely exhausted and it was quite difficult to find the time to edit and stuff because we were doing a lot of stuff in the evening, so I came back and just fell asleep. And then other days because we went away for a few days whilst I was out there, I didn't have any internet at all, so I wouldn't have been able to upload for like 3 days and that would have caused me to get behind, so it just didn't work out. But I did do some filming and I took plenty of photos, so I thought I'd make a posthumous vlog of my trip in 3 parts because I was there for like 2 weeks, so I'll do it in 3 parts, and this one is going to be days 1 to 5. This was actually my second time going to Japan. I went there 5 years ago with my family. That was about a year after my cousins moved there and they still live there, so I really loved it there, so I wanted to go back out and see them and stuff. So after they spent a month in England, they flew back out to Japan, so I went with them. And literally after 2 weeks it did start to feel like home because I was already, I didn't feel that homesick because I'm already with my family, just not my immediate family. I was already with family though, and after 2 weeks it did start to genuinely feel like home. And I remember we got there on the first day and I was just like, oh my god, I'm never ever going to get used to this heat because it's like 30 degrees all the time. It didn't get below about 25 the whole time I was there, even at night. And I remember thinking I'm never going to get used to this heat. And by like the 3rd day it felt pretty normal, like I was pretty used to it already, so it did start to feel quite comfortable. And yeah, I really did like it there. Hopefully I'll get out there again soon. So I left on Monday the 30th of July, so that's 2 weeks and 2 days ago today. My flight was at 9 AM English time, so that's 5 in the afternoon Japan time. I was flying economy because I can't afford to fly anything higher than that, but my cousins were flying business class, and if you're going business you get to take one guest into the business class lounge, and so because I was with them I got to be their guest, and it was quite an experience, and I doubt I'll ever have it again because I don't see myself going business class very often. But they had this huge breakfast laid out. They had like 3 or 4 counters, and one had like fruit, one had cereal and juice, and there was one that had it had one side was these tiny little bacon rolls, they were so cute, and then the other side had mini croissant, mini pain au chocolat and stuff, and it was just incredible. And it was just so quiet and stuff, and you know, it's just like loads of different living rooms. I think there was Wi-Fi, but I didn't find the password. We weren't there very long anyway. And then there was one sort of theatre room with like a big screen, and this is very exciting to someone who only flies in economy. My cousin said they would try and find me a spare seat in business and, you know, sweet talk the staff to let me come and sit with them, but that didn't work. So I had an hour of luxury and then I went back into economy when we boarded. And it was a 12-hour flight, so it basically took the whole of Monday, but from Monday to Tuesday Japan time, if that makes sense. Considering it was 12 hours, it went pretty quickly and it was quite comfortable. So because when we got off our flight it was already Tuesday in Japan, Monday and Tuesday sort of blended into one another with no real distinction between the two because we didn't get like a night's sleep in between. We just had this plane ride, and we got to Japan at 20 to 5 in the morning. Our plan, like I did when I came back, our plan was just to try and stay awake all day and not go to sleep. So then, to be honest, if you can stay awake that whole day you're probably over the jet lag pretty much, because that's exactly what I did here. But it didn't work, so we allowed ourselves like a short nap. So I slept from 8 till 10, which, you know, I felt a little bit better after that. And so I thought, right, I'm going to stay awake, but everyone else went to sleep, so I ended up falling asleep again for another 3 hours, which sort of ruined everything because then I was like, you know, messing up my sleep pattern and stuff. But then after that my aunt woke up as well, she fell back asleep as well. She woke us all up and we went to YCAC, which is the country and athletics club next to their house, which we went to I think just one time last time I was there. And Jess, who's my youngest cousin, she swam there literally every day. I'm not kidding, literally every day. She was so tanned by the time we left, it was crazy. But she went there for a swim and then we had dinner just to get us out of the house and to wake us up. But our sleeping patterns were all over the place by this point. So Wednesday was our second and final day of getting over the jet lag, as in having a lazy day, not really doing anything. In the morning we went to Costco, which wasn't a particularly cultural trip because they have Costcos like all over the world, but I'd never been to one, not even in England, so it was quite an experience in itself. IKEA was also on the cards because I've never been to an IKEA either, but we ran out of time. We didn't have time to go to IKEA, as well as doing all the proper Japanese things that we ended up doing. Having already had one lazy day, we decided to sort of push ourselves to get up and out of the house, and we planned on going to Tokyo Tower in the afternoon, but after we got back from Costco we all crashed out again. We all fell asleep for like 2 or 3 hours. Messed up our sleeping patterns even more, so our plan failed, so we didn't go. Instead, because I managed to wake myself up, I think Isabel just slept until like the middle of the night. Later in the afternoon I went to Motomachi with Caroline to get some more weather appropriate shoes because all I brought was like trainers. We also went to get some Red Bull because I live off the stuff, as I'm sure many of the people who watch my videos know. I always drink Red Bull like one every day at least, and considering I was so tired I thought this would be a good idea. However, all the shops we went to had minimal or no Red Bull, so I think we bought 2 in one shop. I think we went somewhere else as well, and then we ended up at the YCAC buying 4, and then you know, we just had to scrounge it wherever we could because it was in such short supply for some reason. But yeah, we went to Motomachi just to get us out of the house, and you know, we had a wander around there, so that was good. This will become somewhat of a trend throughout this vlog, but we went to the YCAC in the evening so Jess could have another swim, and we had dinner, so even though we didn't end up going to Tokyo or anything, today was a slightly more productive day than the one before. Thursday, being the third day being in Japan, we forced ourselves to get up and leave the house and do something actually productive with our day, so no more lazy days. Izzy, Sophie and I managed to be up and out of the house by 10:30, which is pretty impressive for us. Normally we find it quite difficult to get up. We went to Tokyo Tower first, and last time I was in Japan we did like a tour of Tokyo. I think it was a whole day tour actually, and one of the things that we did was we went to Tokyo Tower, but I had a freak out about the height before we even got up there, so I didn't end up going up to the observatory that time. But this time, despite the fact that me and Sophie do not like heights, we managed to get up to the main observatory, and we'll ignore the fact that my knees were physically shaking. This wasn't even that high and my knees were physically shaking. It was a really clear day, so we got some really good views. We planned on going to Sky Tree or Sky Tower. I can't remember which one it's called because I thought it was called Sky Tree, but then everyone else started calling it Sky Tower, so I'm not really sure which one it was. But this is a new tower that wasn't there the last time I went to Japan, and we planned on going there after Tokyo Tower, but we could see it from the tower and it was a lot further away than we thought it was, and way higher. So we came down from Tokyo Tower, we were done looking at the view, and we came out, and outside the lift there was some sort of show going on, and so we were sort of like, you know, looking around and seeing what it was, and they had this poor monkey doing all these tricks. I'm not even kidding, it was like this monkey trained to jump over things and, you know, walk on stilts. It was really sad. Like, this monkey, it did look really sad. So we stayed and just watched it and sort of like, this is really strange. And I felt really uncomfortable actually. And Izzy was like, we need to wait till the end to see if they feed it, and they didn't. So that was a really sort of weird experience, and nothing like I've ever had before when I was there. We then went down the road to Roppongi, specifically TGI's for lunch, where I had a traditional Japanese dish called chicken finger BLT, which was really nice. I really quite enjoyed it. After we went to TGI's, we walked down the road to a shop called Don Quixote, which literally sells everything. I'm not even kidding. There's like, I think it was like 6 or 7 floors, and each floor is dedicated to something. We only went to the food floor, which was incredible. Like, the amount of just food that they had was really cool. I bought some, you know, interesting looking things. I got some Toppo. Where's it gone? I bought some Toppo, which I got this last time I was in Japan. It was like the only Japanese thing I bought, but oh my god, I love this stuff, and you can't get it here. I haven't even like tried because I know you just won't be able to get it, so I got some of that, and I also got some Pocky as well, for some presents to take home. We then walked up the road to a place where they sell froyo, and we had some there, and then we went home because we were already starting to keel over, even though it was only like 1 or 2. I think it was probably like 1 o'clock. We were already exhausted, and then we took this picture on the way back at the vending machine at Motomachi Chukugai Station, which is fairly similar to the one I took at Narita the last time I came here. So it was a nice little comparison. I thought I'd stick the two next to each other. In the evening we went out to a Japanese restaurant, I cannot remember the name, of it for the life of me, but we went out for proper Japanese food. On our way back we had a very sort of weird encounter with a man who got a little bit angry, it wasn't really provoked that much. Basically we were dropping Jessica's friend home and it was night time, so obviously we had the lights on, we had the headlights on the car. It's a very normal thing to do when it's dark. And this guy walks by and he's like scowls, and I think he like flicked something. Only Jess saw, so I don't know how credible that is, but she said that he did. So anyway, he's walking up the road and we're dropping her friend off. So we turn around in the road, this is like 2 or 3 minutes later, so he's still walking up the road. So we're driving, now in the same direction as him, but behind him. So we're driving up behind him, we've still got our lights on, so he can see without turning around that we're approaching him, obviously, because the lights are there. And my aunt was driving, my uncle was sitting in the passenger seat in the front. I'm not quite sure what series of events he's happened. I'm not sure if he did beep the horn, but I have a feeling he might have. But this man was getting really cross, and you know, he was really like angry for no reason. We hadn't done anything. And like, if you're driving up behind someone, you'd expect the pedestrian to be like, okay, there's a car behind me, the car will run me over, let me just move out of the way. This man blatantly knew we were there and continued to walk directly in front of us, so we can't get past because the roads in Japan are super narrow. Like, there's absolutely no way we could have got around, absolutely no way. We barely fitted in the road. So he's still walking in the road. So then my uncle, okay, we started to, you know, egg him on a little bit. He starts taking like pictures of him on his phone and the flash is going off so he can see what's going on, and he's getting, you know, pretty agitated. So we come to the end of the road and I think we were going to go in the same direction to him, but then my aunt was like, we're going to go the other way. So my uncle, I think, took another picture of him or something, and he started running towards the car. I'm not even joking. I'm sitting there, he's on like my side, I'm in the very back, I'm in like the boot basically, and Sophie and Jess are in front of me, and he literally started running towards the car, wielding something. It was an empty plastic bottle. It wasn't anything like threatening, but you know, it was still a bit terrifying. He ran towards the car as we pulled out and started driving away, and he threw the bottle at the car and hit the window next to me. And it was just really strange. Apparently my aunt was like, I've never seen anything like that before, like anywhere. So it was very strange. I don't really know why he was so angry. We hadn't done anything. So anyway, that was the excitement for our Thursday night. So on the Friday, which was my 5th day, I went with Caroline and Izzy to the travel agents to book a trip for the 2nd week I was there, so me and Izzy could go to Hiroshima and Kyoto, but that was like the only thing I did during the day. In the evening we went to Shibuya in Tokyo, and this is probably the place in Tokyo that I'm most familiar with, just because last time we came here, we stayed in Tokyo for 3 days while my cousins were at school, because they were at school during the week. So during the week we stayed in Shibuya in a hotel. We stayed on the crossing, so I recognised like a fair bit of it. It wasn't exactly how I remembered it, but you know, it was recognisable. We went to a bar first, and then we went on to a restaurant called The Lockup, which is a prison themed restaurant and one of the most genuinely weird places I've ever been in my life. I won't give like the whole thing away because the element of surprise just adds to the whole experience. If you know what's going to happen, it won't be as totally bizarre, but basically it's underground, so it's like 3 floors down, 2 floors down or something like that, and it's so super dark. And I mean, in some places it is pitch black, and you'd never ever be allowed it in England or the US, because over here it would break so many health and safety laws, it'd be crazy. And then you sort of go to like the entrance and stuff where they sort of, you say your name and reservation or whatever, and then one member of your group gets handcuffed. And we originally, before my uncle arrived, we nominated him to be the one who got handcuffed, because other people were very sort of sympathetic and were like, okay, you don't need to get handcuffed, because I was gonna be the one. And we were like, no, let's nominate my uncle. So he was gonna be the one, but then he turned up and was like, no. So it ended up in the end that I was the one who got handcuffed, and they lead you to your cell, which is where you eat, that's where you sit basically. And basically you're sort of, I don't know, I felt like I was being lulled into a sense of sort of, I felt safer in the cell, but do not assume that at all. You are so wrong. So anyway, we had dinner there. The menu's in Japanese, but I'd read that the names of all the foods are sort of gory and weird and stuff. So we just had the set menu, which seemed fine. Like, all the food was actually really, really good. And they bring you these cocktails, and they have them in test tubes, and they give you like pipettes and conical flasks with milk in them, and you can like mix them together. It actually tastes really nice. So despite being abused by the noise and the darkness, it was actually a really fun night. The food was really good, and it was definitely not an experience I planned on having, but one that was definitely fun in the end. So that concludes the first 5 days of my trip. So I shall see you for the next video, which I'm about to film in like a minute. So I shall see you in the next video.